Good morning and welcome. Please rise in body or in spirit. This song is called Put One Foot in Front of the Other. I think you know it already, but just repeat after me. Let's make sure we got it. You got to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And then you got to sing really strong. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. All right, sing it with me. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and come on, put your hands together. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other. You sound good. Let's do it again. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. All right, listen to this. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. Listen to this. Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Lift up your head.
Look up ahead.
The path is there.
The
Let's try
path
it
is
again.
there.
Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Lift up your head.
Lift up your head.
The path is there.
The path is there.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put. You don't sound like you believe that. I can't tell. Come on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other. All right. I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too.
And I'm scared too.
But here I am.
But here I am.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too.
And I'm scared too.
But here I am.
But here I am.
Right next to you.
Right next
Sing it strong. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. All right, don't sit down yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. You know better. Come on and dance with me a little bit. Move a little bit. You'll feel it. And sing strong. Here it is. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom.
Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name.
It sounds like
Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, what shall I do?
Sounds like justice.
Sounds like justice.
Somebody's calling.
Somebody's calling my
Oh,
name.
it sounds
like justice.
somebody's calling my
Somebody's calling my
name. Oh, it sounds like justice.
justice.
Somebody's calling my name.
Somebody's calling my
Oh,
name.
my
Oh
Lord.
my Lord, oh my Lord, what shall I do?
Oh, I'm so glad. This is my favorite one. Sing it out. Trouble don't
Trouble don't last always.
I'm so
Yes,
glad.
I'm so glad
Trouble don't
that trouble
last.
don't last always.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad
That trouble don't last
that trouble
always.
don't last always. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord,
What shall
what shall I do?
Can we do that one more time? I'm so glad.
I'm so glad
Trouble don't last.
trouble don't last always.
Anybody glad that trouble don't last?
I'm so glad
Trouble don't
that
last
trouble
always.
don't last always.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad
Trouble don't last.
trouble don't last always. Oh my Lord,
My Lord,
oh my Lord,
what shall
what shall I do?
Jake Morrill, he and him, sabbatical senior minister here at the UU Congregation of Atlanta, where we are transforming lives through courageous action and you got it. Today we're looking at those moments where we're caught between a rock and a hard place. If you're new here and feeling intrigued, watch out. I'm just saying, watch out. Because you might get to know some people and you might start to get curious and you might walk down the hall after the service and see the welcome table in the social hall and you might put your name there and you might share your information and pretty soon you might just get caught up in something better than you expected.
Good morning and welcome again. I am Nick Johnson, he, him. I am the acting music director here at UUCA. Our welcome, thank you. Our welcome is radical and real to our queer and trans beloveds, to black and brown beloveds, indigenous beloveds, and beloveds of every heritage, to immigrants and citizens, to housed and unhoused, to the neurospicy queens, kings, and everything in between, and the not quite so sure, to the grieving and the giddy, to the elders with long memories, kids with restless legs, singles and families of all beautiful configurations. Welcome all that you are. We welcome all that you are, and every chapter in your story is welcome here.
Now look, when we're not yet to joy, we're going to keep moving. When we're not yet to justice, we're going to keep moving. When life puts the squeeze on us, we're going to keep moving. So let's lock in that intention with a call and response. I'm going to say rock in a hard place, and I want to hear you say we won't stay stuck. Rock in a hard place.
We won't stay stuck.
Rock in a hard place.
We won't stay stuck.
Rock in a hard place.
We won't stay stuck.
That's our promise today to ourselves and each other. Step by step, we're going to make a way. Now, every voyage needs a guiding flame, so as we begin today, I'd like to invite forward Cheryl Delaney. Am I doing that? No, I'm not. I'm going to invite myself. Or am I going to invite Elizabeth again? I don't know who I'm going to, but I know this flame needs to be lit. So somebody's going to light it. This is the beacon for all who journey between rock and the hard place toward wisdom and back home toward one another. So let's say these chalice lighting words together. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
Long, long ago, before airplanes, before engines, before maps, there was a sailor named Odysseus. He was clever, brave, and just a little too curious for his own good. He had been away from home for a very long time, fighting in the Trojan War, and now all he wanted was to get back to his island, Ithaca, where his wife and son were waiting. But the sea had other ideas. Every wave he crossed seemed to hide another test. Storms, sirens, giants, angry gods, and one day, his ship came to a place that looked peaceful, but wasn't. To the left, cliffs rose up like walls of stone. In one of those cliffs lived a monster named Scylla. She had 6 long necks, each with an hungry head, and 12 wriggling legs that gripped the rocks. Her eyes were cold and sharp as glass, and her mouths, 6 of them, were always hungry for sailors. To the right, the sea boiled and roared like dragon's breath. That was Charybdis, a whirlpool so huge it could swallow the ocean itself. 3 times a day, she would open her mouth like a black hole in the water and drink down everything around her, fish, foam, ships, and all. And then, with a thunderous belch, she'd spit it all back up again. So there it was, a narrow strait, a thin slice of sea between the two horrors. If you sailed too close to Scylla, she'd snatch your sailors and eat them whole. But if you turned too far toward Charybdis, your whole ship and everyone in it would vanish beneath the waves. So Odysseus didn't know what to do. There was no good choice. But then he remembered the words of the wise goddess Circe, who had warned him, "You cannot avoid both. The safest path is near Scylla's cliff. Better to lose a few than to lose them all." So Odysseus took a deep breath, tightened his grip on the steering oar, and said quietly to his men, "Row hard, and whatever happens, don't look back." And they rowed. The oars bit the water, the sea hissed beneath them, and then from the cliff came a screech. 6 terrible heads darted down, and 6 of his sailors were gone. The rest of the crew pulled with all their might, tears mixing with the salt spray, and somehow they passed through. They survived. Odysseus wept for the ones he had lost, but he knew if he had turned the other way, none of them would have made it home. And that's how Odysseus learned that sometimes in life, we face choices where there is not a perfect answer. Sometimes we can only choose the better of 2 hard paths. In our lives, Scylla and Charybdis might look different. Maybe it's a hard decision between telling the truth and hurting someone's feelings. Maybe it's standing up for what's right when it might cost you something. Odysseus reminds us that courage isn't about having an easy way forward. It's about choosing the best you can and steering your ship through the storm. So the next time you're stuck between two tough choices, remember the story of the monster and the whirlpool and the sailor who steered between them, brave enough to keep going even when there's no perfect path. And that, my friends, is the story of the courage it takes to steer your own way home. I'd now like to invite members of the nominating committee to the chancel to lead us in this morning's movement prayer. As they come up, we invite you to rise as you are willing and able to join us. First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to invite children 3rd grade and under to exit and join preschool or their creative workshop for the morning. Please note that the location for these is just down the hall on the 1st floor. And as our children recess, take this opportunity to greet your neighbor, especially someone who you've not yet met.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one could hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take me home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. Place where we don't have to feel unknown. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone. If you only say the word, from across the silence, your voice is heard. And oh, someone will come running. Oh, he'll take you home. He'll take you home. Well, even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. Out of the shadows, the morning is breaking, and all is new. All is new. It's giving up the empty. And suddenly I'll see that all is new, all is new. You are not alone, 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 you are not alone. When the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. You will be found. You will be found.
Oh my. So at the morning service, I was like, how can I say words after that? And now I have to say, I am so very grateful to speak after these words and after this song and be able to say that, oh my goodness, I feel at home. I am so very grateful to have found home. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah, and so for folks who might not know why that's a big deal, I'm the Reverend Ian Hill. I'm relatively new here. My pronouns are they and he, and, I welcome all of them. Today, I am sharing a reading titled Home by Warsan Shire, a British Somali writer, activist, and teacher born in Kenya. And I also want to give a disclaimer that these words may be challenging for some to hear, and I know we'll be all right. I know we'll be all right. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see your whole city running as well, your neighbors running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with, who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory, is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay, when no one wants to leave. Home, let me back up. No one leaves home unless home chases you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought about doing. It's not until the blade burns threats into your neck. Even then, you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport hotel, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you weren't going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled means more than the journey. No one crawls under fences. No one wants to be beaten, pitied. No one chooses refugee camps. Amen. I want to go home. But home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of a gun, and no one would leave home unless this home was chasing you to the shore, unless home told you, quicken your legs, leave those clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through oceans, drown and save and be hunger. Beg. Forget pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave. Run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here. Anywhere was safer than there.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
If it is available to you, let us put hands on hearts. Feel the heartbeat, connection to life. Breathe in peace. And say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love can heal the world. At this time, we will hear the joys and sorrows of this congregation. Paul Laurie had been resting comfortably at North Lake Hospital after suffering a broken leg and is now in rehab facility. Cards, emails, and texts are welcome. There is good news from John Bolton. He is at home from hospitalization. Let us show our support through emails, phone calls, and visits. No text, please. Marianne Oakley is also asking for bereavement support through home visits as you are able. And now you are invited to say the names of people and situations you are holding in your heart this morning. Speak their names or the situations out loud into this holy space now. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. And may all of us find ways to be more loving to one another. Spirit of life, of love eternal, we rest in holy gratitude. We surrender to the mystery of love that is beyond ourselves, asking for forgiveness, perhaps those times that we've been selfish or thoughtless. Breathing in and out. We offer grace. We forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. And now let us calm our bodies and our minds, breathing in peace and exhaling, relaxing more further into this space that our intentions make sacred. And now we enter into the silence.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here in this amazing, beautiful, sacred space. I am Reverend Dr. Lisa Heilig. My pronouns are she, her, and ella. And I am Executive Director of Toco Hills Community Alliance. It has been my absolute delight to get to know many of you as UUCA has been hosting mobile food pantries here every other month, and as many of you have come to volunteer at Toco Hills. And it has been an absolute pleasure to see the relationship between UUCA and Toco Hills Community Alliance deepen and grow through the years, and especially this past year. Especially this past year, because this past year, this past month, this past week, our neighbors have needed us more than ever, as more and more of our neighbors are having to make seemingly impossible decisions. Like the young man who is newly sober, he knows he's not ready to work yet full time, and so he's having to choose between his sobriety and eating. Or the undocumented mother whose son is ill and ineligible for Medicaid or SNAP, who has to choose between the safety of her home or risk coming out to get food and being picked up. This is real, y'all. Or the disabled veteran who's recovering from surgery and his wife who are having to choose between paying for food or medicine. Oh, and the furloughed government workers and those whose SNAP benefits have been halted. These are our neighbors. These are our neighbors. These are people we get to see every day at Toco Hills Community Alliance, people we have the privilege and honor of getting to know as we meet them with welcome, hospitality, and compassion. As we form community in the short time we have together. And at Toco Hills Community Alliance, we share food. Yes, we share food. But we also share hope. We share hope as the people who come find the promise that they are not forgotten, that someone still cares. Each can of soup, each bag of rice, each dollar that is given becomes a small act of defiance against despair. A reminder that love still makes a way. Come on, love still makes a way. And that generosity will build bridges where there once were walls. So this offering, it's about more than food. It's about more than food. We are giving hope. Because when life presses our neighbors between a rock and a hard place, with your support, Toco Hills Community Alliance becomes the place that demonstrates that hope is stronger than hunger. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Out of the ruins and rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, can we see a ray of hope? One pale thin ray reaching for the day we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city of man. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick and heart by heart. Now, maybe now we start learning how can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but finally a city of man. When your trust is all but battered, when your faith is almost killed, you can give up bitter and battered, or you can slowly start to build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but finally a city of man. Ooh, a city of man.
About halfway through, that city started to come into view for me. I don't know about you, but it was happening. Please help me dedicate this offering to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Thanks, John. So let me just get a confession out of the way. At a restaurant, when it comes time to order, I am a disaster. My wife, Molly, is a professional. Before we even leave the house, she has studied the menu like the Dead Sea Scrolls. And she shows up with a flight plan. Dressing on the side, this cheese and not that cheese, salmon in the pan for exactly this many minutes. Meanwhile, I am melting down in an existential crisis. Because on the menu, I don't see soup or salad. Instead, I see destinies dripping with consequence. The grain bowl whispering virtue. The pasta purring pleasure. The tacos over here shouting out, hey, joy. And then the server turns to me, pen poised, and my nervous system short circuits. I blurt out something I wasn't even thinking about. Server smiles, writes it down, walks away with my future on a pad of paper, and immediately I'm thinking, no, I wanted the bibimbap. It sounds silly, it is silly. Being in a restaurant with me is silly. But here's the thing, the ache underneath it is real. It hurts to surrender all those other possible lives, even if we're just talking about lunch. And if I can get knotted up about tacos, and I can, you can imagine how I do with the decisions that really matter. But the older I get, the more I realize the question is not how do I avoid making the wrong decision? The question has become, how do I walk into my choices awake, honest, and free? Earlier, we heard about Odysseus steering his ship between the monster and the whirlpool, between Scylla and Charybdis. That's how real life often gets, not the pure, shining choice, the of-course choice between good and evil, but instead finding ourselves between a rock and a hard place, between one loss and a different loss. And I would guess that lands somewhere in your life. Now, not everybody showed up this morning with the same deck of cards or dealt the same hand. Some of us carry student debt, others carry generational wealth. Some of us were raised to speak our mind, others were raised to survive by disappearing. Some of us feel every day the drag of racism, sexism, transphobia, and ableism, while others move through hallways that were built at our height for our comfort. So we don't face the same choices. And when we face similar choices, we don't face the same consequences. I'm not here to say you create your own reality as though trauma and history and systems don't exist. That's just spiritual gaslighting. What I am saying is this. Inside whatever forces are pressing on you today, there are still decisions that only you can make. And not deciding is a decision. And the choices in front of you this morning are not theoretical. This is not a game of would you rather with friends. It looks like, do I ask for a second medical opinion? Am I going to do that treatment? Do I tell my adult child, I love you, and I'm not going to fund that? Do I stay in a job that is slowly shrinking me, or step into the unknown with a shaking hand and a half-baked plan? Do I confront the colleague whose jokes wound people I care about? Or do I keep the peace that keeps the harm going? Do I sign the lease? Do I sign the divorce papers? Do I show up for a justice campaign that will take more out of me than I intended to give? And these are just choices, perhaps, in this congregation or in this room. So as I stretch my imagination wider, I remember Warsan Shire's poem, Home, that fierce holy insistence that no one leaves home lightly, that families only climb into boats when the land itself has turned hostile. Somewhere right now, a parent is deciding whether to stay in a city where the bombs fall or to run into uncertainty with their children. Somewhere, a family is choosing which child to send first, knowing the others may not get a chance. My wife, Molly, you know, the one who studies menus, works with migrant farm working families in Hamblin and Ray County in Tennessee, and some of them over time have become friends, and so I've seen these kinds of choices firsthand. That's why anti-immigrant policy is such an insult, because people have arrived here in this country having made choices that I can only imagine. I have such respect, even reverence, for these lives. I think my response would be one of gratitude and awe. So compared to those kinds of choices, and I want to say it may be that this morning some people here, it may be that you are also living in the mouth of a shark. So I respect that if you are. And it also may be that some of us have been living our lives on a pillow. Compared to these choices of running from the mouth on a shark, the choices before us may seem small, but they're not meaningless. Because the same inner life that faces the menu at a restaurant is the same inner life that must decide what to do when real risk, real sacrifice, and real courage are required. Before getting into this framework of a possible how with tough choices, I want to talk about why it matters that we learn to choose better. So first, and I know this is going to be a radical word in a UU congregation, but first, I think your life matters. In this interdependent world, in this web of world, any personal choice I make has public ramifications. Any private choice I make echoes out and ripples out. A teacher once decided to encourage you or not to encourage you. A neighbor once decided to intervene. A grandparent decided to stick around and show up. These choices that they made helped create the story that you know as your own. And your choices today will help create someone's tomorrow. The way you decide where you spend, how you speak, what you bless, what you refuse, teaches others around you what you see as normal, what you see as possible, and what you see as holy. Your life matters and your choices matter. And second, every choice brings some pain. Who here knows, aside from other humans, the most dangerous mammal to human beings in this country? Deer. Deer. Think of all of those collisions out on the highway. Think of all of those funerals, all of that twisted metal. And there is a solution. Ecologists tell us we could have much fewer car crashes with deer if only we were willing to welcome into the ecosystem some loose mountain lions. Okay? It's just that the implications may be occurring to you now that for all the fewer wrecks on the road, there may be more maulings in the backyard. That's how it is with public choices, moral choices, political choices. There's always trade-offs. There's no perfect, painless path, only the clear-eyed responsibility about how to distribute pain. We do well to face our own choices like public health officials, the question being not can I avoid harm entirely, but instead, who is bearing which harms, and is that just? Is that necessary? Is there a wiser balance? So let's get over any fantasies and delusions of purity and think instead harm reduction. Third, I think about why our choices matter is that life goes better with a playbook than with guessing. The roots of good process feed the fruits of impact. Champion poker player Annie Duke has a book called Thinking in Bets, in which she observes that amateur poker players get lucky and then almost superstitiously try to replicate that luck, perhaps doing whatever they did the last time, hoping it will yield the same results. But she says champion poker players do things differently. Champion poker players figure out their long-term strategies, how they make decisions, how they're going to roll. They bring a playbook to the table and then adhere to it, knowing that they're going to face some downturns and losses. But then, in the end, over time, those who stay the course based in thoughtful principles become champions. This is especially important, I think, when we're facing situations that are open and ambiguous and full of uncertainty. As South African lion tracker Boyd Vardy puts it, I don't know where I'm going, but I know how to get there. I don't know where I'm going, but I know how to get there. He doesn't know exactly where that lion has ended up there through the bush, but he has some principles for what to follow, what the next step and the next step and the next step will yield. Annie Duke calls decisions a bet on the future and says that our preferred futures are more likely if we've thought things through first. So your choices ripple farther than you might imagine. There is no such thing as a private decision. There is no way to spare everyone. And guessing is not a strategy. Going with your gut. God help us. The good news is you are not a passenger in your own life. You're at the helm, and no committee, no family, no church or minister can do your choosing for you. But there are some resources as we aim ourselves over time toward wisdom, like the story of Esther in the Hebrew Bible. Now, Esther lived in the glittering chaos of the Persian Empire, where the king had more money than sense, and a habit of taking advice from villains. There's stories like this people tell in the world. When a genocidal decree goes out, it wasn't a political puzzle, but an existential crisis. And into this impossible moment steps Esther, an orphan turned queen, a woman with influence but with no real authority. And if you've ever been stuck between a rock and a hard place, Esther knows something about what that's like. And out of her story, this story of Esther, I think there is a sturdy way that we might find our way through our own impossible choices, a framework not for easy answers, but for courageous clarity. And I sum it up like this: face the facts, find your footing, follow the call. First, face the facts. When the decree drops here in the Persian Empire, Mordecai, who is Esther's cousin and truth teller, doesn't sugarcoat it. Does anybody here have a truth teller in your life? Mordecai doesn't put up any thoughts and prayers post. Instead, he tears his clothes, wails in the street, and sends Esther the actual text of the law. Any pretending is over. He says, look at it. Don't flinch. Don't turn away. This is what's up. Before any good decision, there's this moment of seeing what is actually true, of widening our lens and taking it in. Not the story that you wish was true, not the story that anxiety has been fabricating for you, not the story that social media has been curating for you, but the inconvenient, beautiful, and sometimes brutal facts of the world, the facts of what is. Wise people, I think, don't confuse hope with denial, but instead they pause to grieve what is real and to name it and hold steady in their hands. And only then do they move. Because you can't steer through what you won't see into. You can't steer through what you refuse to see into. So face the facts. Second is find your footing. After looking outward and coming to terms with what is, Esther turns inward. Once she sees the stakes, she doesn't run for the hills or start a new self-improvement plan. She looks inward. She says, who am I really? And what power do I actually have in this moment? She can't revoke a king's decree. She can't become a prophet or lead an army. But what she can do is use her access, her courage, her voice, her mind. She's clear on her limits, but she's also clear on her power. Her cousin Mordecai, that truth teller, prods her, who knows whether you have come to royal dignity for such a time as this? It's a piercing question, and I think each of us faces it. Who knows whether you, listening right now, have come to your position, this community, this very season for such a time as this? Not that we're living in some pre-planned, pre-scripted reality of divine or providence, but that perhaps all the struggle that we've been through, all the lessons that we've learned, all that you got through and survived made you stronger and equipped you exquisitely for this moment. Before she acts, Esther grounds herself. She calls for a fast, a pause, a communal breath. Before walking into danger, she steadies her soul. Because when the ground is shaken, what you don't need is bluster. You need solid footing. You don't need to know even the whole plan, but you do need to know who you are and what you're about. That's maturity and wisdom, I think, staying connected without getting infected, and loving others in this world without losing yourself, and acting without overreacting. And all of that takes taking a breath. So Esther knew her limits, her values, her purpose, and she moved from there. She faced the facts, she found her footing, and last of all, she followed the call. When she acts not rashly, but strategically. She doesn't go out and start a brawl. Instead, she plans a banquet. She invites the king and Haman to dinner, not once, but twice. She waits for the right moment to speak her truth, because courage isn't just blurting something out when you're all heated up. Courage is strategically timing the truth so it lands to make impact. And when she finally steps forward, knowing that she could die for it, Esther says, if I perish, I perish. In those words, I don't hear martyrdom. I don't hear fatalism. In those words, I hear freedom. Because at this moment, Esther is no longer negotiating with fear. She's no longer trying to work out how to play the angles to guarantee her own safety. Instead, now she's aligned herself and her life with something larger than herself. When you follow that kind of call, the outcome matters, but it doesn't define you. You've already won the harder victory of living in integrity. With the choices we make, we're always going to disappoint someone. But the real tragedy is when we disappoint ourselves. So go on and disappoint other people, you will, but don't disappoint yourself. Be who you are called to be. Serve what you intend to serve. Be about it. Be about it. And look, Esther's courage doesn't erase the danger, but it transforms the system around her. It shifts the context. The king remembers an old act of faithfulness. The decree gets rewritten, and a people once doomed now find deliverance. In other words, her choice isn't the end of the story. It just sets the stage for the very next choice. So let's break all this down and bring it to this morning, because I imagine you've been standing at your very own gate. Maybe the gate of a relationship where the next word could bring healing, or perhaps could bring wounding. Perhaps the gate of a job that's been eating you alive, or the gate of a country or a family that forgot how to tell the truth. And you've been asking, what should I do? Which way should I turn? What if every choice I look at is going to hurt somebody? What's the answer? And that's the thing about being human. We want moral math that's going to add up cleanly on the ledger. And life keeps handing us word problems in a language that we barely speak. And in these moments, I think we can call Esther to mind. First, we can face the facts. We can look the danger, the dilemma, the heartbreak straight in the eye. If the budget's bleeding, we can say that out loud. If the marriage is unraveling, stop talking about busy schedules. If the democracy is gasping, don't paint it over and call it polarization. Truth is never the enemy. Avoidance is. As Warsaw Shire reminds us, people don't move, change, flee, or speak hard truth for convenience. They do it because staying put has become impossible. And I don't know if something's become impossible for you this morning. But whether it's the refugee on the border, or the truth teller at the board table, or the parent finally naming what's broken at home, courage starts by facing what is. Second, find your footing. You are not infinite. You cannot fix everything. That cape is not real, whatever you've been putting on. And you're not going to please everybody. But you do have agency, real, sturdy, sacred agency. And if you don't use it, somebody else will. If you don't make your own choices, somebody will make them. This is where you pause before pouncing. You ask, what's mine to do and what's not? You plant your feet in your own values, your own commitments, before you let yourself get caught up in someone else's urgency. You find your footing, and last, follow the call. This is the leap into the unknown that no one else can make for you. When risk rises like a tide and you can't tell if the next step is going to save you or sink you, you decide to move anyway. You don't do it because you're sure of success, but because you're sure of your why. You know what's up and you know who you are. That's Esther's line, if I perish, I perish. And maybe your version sounds like, well, if I fail, I fail. Or maybe your version sounds like, if they don't like it, they don't like it. Or maybe your version sounds like, if it costs me, it costs me. Face the facts, find your footing, follow the call. And maybe, just maybe, the world on the other side of your decision will be a little more whole, a little more just, a little more free, because you chose to live like Esther. And that's you on your own, in your own life. But what about all of us here together? Because we're not just a collection of individuals assiduously trying to avoid our hard choices. We're a community, a congregation in an age that runs on avoidance and outrage. Every system has its own Haman, every century its own decree of despair. And yet here we are, once again, another Sunday, still gathering, still lighting the chalice, which means that we've got work to do, and we know it. If you are here, you know we've got work to do. And maybe this last week, you felt some new hope. I know I did. And then by about Thursday, I was back on the ground again. because I remembered that's not the end of the story. The rest of our lives isn't just a long victory lap. That was only a glimpse. That was only a taste. That was only just a little bit of fuel for the fire. When we face the facts together, we become a people who don't need to hide from reality. We can name injustice without being consumed by it, because our shared courage is bigger than our shared fear. When we find our footing together, we hold each other steady. You remind me who I am when I forget, and I remind you what you stand for when the winds of anxiety start howling. That's how community works, not by perfect agreement, but by holy gravity, pulling each of us back to our deepest commitments. And when we follow the call together, we move from survival to service. We become a chorus of courage in a world that's been running low on backbone of late. Maybe that's our Esther moment right here and right now. Maybe for a time such as this means all of us, this community in this city and this season, daring to live with clear eyes, strong hearts, and open hands, to plan a banquet instead of a brawl, to speak the truth strategically timed with tenderness, to risk ourselves for love's sake, because love is worth the risk. I don't know what you've been sitting on up to now. I don't know if you're in the mouth of a shark or asleep on a pillow, but maybe this morning it's time to decide. And not just for a day, but for your whole lifetime. Not just for this challenge, but for your legacy, including the basic decision in your life of whether, there's the call right now. Including the basic decision of whether you're going to stay stuck. Including the decision of if you're going to stay down, or whether or not you're going to figure out how to rise. Because you know you're not yet home. And you know this morning we are all not yet free. So as the music grows around us and within us, I invite you to hear this song not just as a performance, but as a promise that we're going to make to each other. That when the grief is heavy, we're going to rise up. When the odds are terrible, we're going to rise up. When the choice is costly, we're going to rise up. Clear-eyed, open-hearted, unafraid of the cost of love. So let's say it one more time for everyone in this room. Between a rock and a hard place, face the facts, find your footing, follow the call. And now as we sing Rise Up, let our singing become a holy, powerful prayer, and let our prayer then turn us and change our lives so that this city might know that there are people, still people, ordinary, complicated, beautiful people who choose to rise together no matter the cost.
I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up. And I'll rise up. High like the waves. I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
Friends, when the choices are impossible, may you face the truth, may you remember who you are and whose you are, and may you follow love wherever it leads. Rise up, go in peace.
And we'll rise up, and we'll rise up, we'll rise like the day, we'll rise up, we'll rise unafraid, we'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times. One more time, and we'll rise up, and we'll rise up, high like the waves, we'll rise up, in spite of the ache, we'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. Do your best with this next part. For you, for you, for you. Beautiful. For you. One more time, and we'll rise up. High like the waves, we'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 and we'll rise up. High like the waves, we'll rise up. In spite of the hate, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 times again. Go in peace. Happy Sunday.